What kind of friends are going to love you through the things that you go through? And specifically, I want you to focus on what I'm saying there when I say love you through things, not just love you when it's beneficial for them. Okay, so I just want to tell a few stories that have to do with how people have loved me through things and how I think you should look for these type of people in your life, and that I'm believing that God will help you find in your life if you'll ask him. So one of the first examples is there's, been a pastor in my life who initiated friendship with me, right? A lot of times people feel like, "Oh, I got to go talk to the pastor about something," and that's fine, but it's all the better when one of them reaches out to you and says, "Hey, let's grab coffee or lunch or whatever," and wants to genuinely get to know you as a person. Well, I had someone like that come into my life years ago, and this person stuck through with me through my mistakes in life, and imparted wisdom to me. They watched me mature in life, and it was all because, in a lot of ways, because of the love that they showed me. And that's so important, because if I just had someone telling me what to do all the time, that wouldn't really help me. But this person would actually listen to me about my life. And sometimes it was just to listen, it wasn't always to give advice or whatever, but they just showed that they enjoyed meeting with me. And, I'd hear about their life and, show appreciation for them. And here I am years later, and I still think about their example of love towards me, because they weren't just bent on what I was doing or behavior or whatever. Again, they genuinely wanted to get to know me as a person. And so that's something of high value. Now, I have more friends than just pastors, okay, but I want to give another pastoral example of someone that was in my life. Now, this guy dates back further than the example of the one I just gave. There was, this revivalist type of preacher who also became a pastor. But I would see him growing up and hear about his tent meetings, and I would see him sometimes in churches growing up, and then later on in life, I got talking to him and we built a connection and things. But this guy has always just called me out of the blue and said a prayer of faith over me, checked in on what's going on in my life. And, when I lived in the same state as him, we would get together, and he just always had this outstanding character of speaking to the things of God in my life, right? And always encouraged me, and he wasn't judgmental. And I'm not saying people don't ever need correction in life, but it's almost like sometimes people can just bring correction to you with how much they love you, because you can see that you can be doing better, if that makes sense, which I think it does, but hopefully you're following. And so I really appreciate that guy. Just today he called me. I haven't even talked to him in, I think, like over a year, and he just said, "Hey, you just came to my mind, and I just want to hear about what's going on in your life." And then he said a prayer for me, and it was perfect timing. I was feeling like, man, I've been doing a lot of work and stuff, and just his prayer of faith helped lifted my spirit from some of the work stress and stuff I was dealing with. All right, so then just some other quick examples are of friends, in my life that I've had, that we call each other and we check in, we talk about different subject matters, of similar interest, but we also see how each other is doing in one another's lives, and we pray together. And see, there's this common thread of people that pray for each other and pray with each other. So I have friends, we don't always necessarily pray with each other, but then there are friends that we quite often do pray at the end of the phone conversation. And we've watched each other grow in life because we know that prayer is working effectively in our lives. And it's just awesome. Some I've known for a very long time, some only a couple to a few years, but rather than just, basing friendship on similar interests, we base it on prayer too. And so I would encourage you to find those kind of friends in your life, friends of prayer, because oftentimes I've noticed the people that stick with me, that love me through things and aren't just there when things seem good or whatever, or when it benefits them, are people of prayer. And so I'm, believing if you don't already have those kind of people in your life, that God will bring them to you. And if you do have them, that God will strengthen those relationships in your life and maybe even bring a few others. But I was just really encouraged thinking about this tonight. And so I wanted to get on here and make a little video about it because maybe you can relate to it. And, maybe this video can encourage you to seek out these kind of friendships in your life.